Hey, everybody. I'm Jane.
And I'm Sarah.
And you're listening to the Medium Curious podcast, the show that invites you, along with these two little mediums who are your hosts, to become joy farmers.
Oh, yeah. E-I-E-I-O.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Isn't that so good?
I want to be farming some joy.
Dude, you do.
Composting the soil, making it grow. Oh, that makes me happy. And along the way, we need guidance to do that. And that's what we're talking about today, right?
Yes, my little farmer friend. Yes, we are inviting our guides to speak through us. Oh, are we doing that? Should we do that? I just decided.
Okay.
What
Let's take it as it comes. Let's take it as it comes.
See who's here.
Yeah.
I've been watching too much Next Level Soul. Yeah, we're talking about guides.
So I think when I was thinking about this episode, intuition and how everybody can get on board with intuition, right? Everybody understands that is guidance. When we tune into our intuition, magical things happen. And I would like to take that a step further, relating our intuition to our guides, the guidance that we get through our intuition. What do you think of that?
I think yes. And I think that's actually a really good place to start, because I think a big question people have about guides and how we hear them and how we interpret what we're hearing is that discernment. Like, which voice in our head is guides? Is that the same as intuition? Or is that the same as that sometimes booming voice of God? Or is that the same as the like annoying tapes that our minds have that want to say shit that isn't true or real? So it's like a huge game of discernment.
That's right. And so I think we can talk about that a little bit today. How do we trust what we're getting? I know that there are some of our favorite teachers out there that do talk to their guides all the time. Like Suzanne Giesemann, she channels her group of guides, Sanaya, and they bring through this awesome wisdom. But then she also has guides. I don't know if she still does or if she just does mediumship more fluidly through her own. But I know that in the beginning, when I took all of her online classes during COVID, she had a guide named, I think it was Boris, who would help her in mediumship.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
Do you have one of those?
Yes, I'll get to that.
Sorry, I'm skipping Suzanne. What about you, Sarah? Sorry, please continue.
Let's talk about some other people that we know that talk to their guides.
Sure, totally.
Like Laura Lynn Jackson talks about her team of light, and even Rachel Stewart from 411 Together that we had on several weeks ago. She gets so much from her. I think she calls her guidance and her guides her team of light as well. And she really tunes into them and they guide her exactly where she needs to go. So she's not only tuning into her daughter Kennedy in spirit, but she's also tuning into higher divine guidance.
Yeah. And I think she described it as having the guides come online first, where she was really hearing them and trusting them. And that made room for Kennedy to be able to come through.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a good, it was the first step for me.
Listening to your guide before,
way before spirit, folks on the other side. It was, yeah. It was a long time ago. And then I
feel like I was the other way around.
Really? That makes sense. Yeah, that's right. Because you were kind of bombarded by spirit.
But I think for me, in order to trust the guidance that I was getting, I needed to be able to trust the evidence that I was getting. So the evidence
that's
came
your science
for
mind.
me.
Yeah.
That's my science mind.
Sure.
And pragmatism.
Pragmatism?
Pragmatism?
That's not it either.
I've thrown that out. That's
You're
gone
pragmatic,
now.
babe. How about that?
I needed the evidence. And so what connecting to spirit and having a sitter did for me was give me evidence that my intuition was right. So when somebody would give me a name or I got where someone was from or how many kids somebody had, that to me was evidence that my intuition was right and that what I was getting was real. And so I needed that in order to be able to trust the guides, because honestly, like hearing everybody like, my guide said this, I'm like,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Must be nice. The voices in your head sound real friendly.
Like, they told you to do that. Okay,
oh my
great.
God, I know. I'm so careful. I kind of never say it because it sounds crazy. I mean, straight up. I mean, not that it sounds crazy. It just, I don't know. There can be like I don't know how to explain it. That's actually another good place to go. And I think it's a good place to go right now. Like, I mean, when I'm with my peeps, like if I'm with you or the Carlas or Eliza or something, I'd be like, yeah, my guides, and you would nod and it would be no problem. But in the outer world, I don't like stand in line at the bank and go, well, my guides just told me that this was a good day to deposit this check. You know what I mean? Like we have to have discernment around that. But I did catch myself the other day. Someone was saying something about the dog, or the dog thought this or that. And I was like, I'll tell you what the dog thinks. And I was like, Jane, shut up. Anyway. So that discernment is dropping apparently. But it's cool. I love that you and I came completely opposite sauce, because I was taught how to channel my guides by my aunt when I was in my 20s.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. 1,000 years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's nice then. When spirit came in for you, you had your guides already set up and you had that support system. Did that work? Is that how that worked for you?
I mean, more or less, because I've been, I kind of feel like I've been amassing them over the years, just because I worked, I was taught by this beautiful man who I think I've brought up before on this show, Hank Wesselman. We've talked about him, haven't we, here? Who is a shaman, and he was initiated as a Hawaiian shaman. And he has a beautiful book about that called Bowl of Light. Anyway, all that to say, I learned shamanic journeying and healing from he and his wife. And that is where I really met my guides. Because when you're on a shamanic journey, you're out there and you're seeing and you're chatting to. And so that's where all my guides really came online. And that was like 20 years ago.
So you've been living a guided life for 20 years.
Yes and no, though. Yes and no. Because what happens is the 3D becomes louder than the 5D. So, I mean,
that's true. That's very true.
I mean? It kind of drops you back in and kicks you around, and you forget that you can close your eyes, and a second later, with the journey work, you use drums and you like go out to these places. But luckily, those places kind of feel really familiar, and I can just close my eyes and go. Let me just say this a little bit, because it's really beautiful, and I think it's a great way to kind of meet your guides. Is what they taught us was this idea of having like a garden, like kind of a secret garden inside. Yeah. And a lot of guided meditations will take you to a place, like take you to a beautiful nature spot. What's the place by the river or by the ocean or whatever? So whatever that is for you, you can go and you can create that. And then you have this wonderful, like imaginary landscape, and you can build whatever you want. Like, I want a house over there for massage. I would like I have a spring over here. I have another spot over there where I meet that guide for this purpose. And so it's sort of like this amazing other space. And so when I really need to sit with my guides, I go, it's like hilarious. Okay, I'm going to say it. There's like this very beautiful spring, and I sit in the middle of the spring, and all my guides sit around the edge of this little pool of like reflecting water in the gorgeous blah, blah, blah garden. And I'm like, y'all, what do I do about this? And then I get perspectives from each of them. And there's about a dozen that I know about.
Oh, so good.
I'm sitting in the water feeling good.
That's the thing. If I had heard that 5 years ago, I would have been like,
whatever, lady.
I mean, actually, I was doing this 5 years ago. I think 10 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, whatever, no way.
Yeah.
But I have come to realize that the power of our imagination, the power of thought, and the emotion that is a result of those thoughts is so powerful
Mm.
because that's what creates energy. And our guides connect to us through energy, and especially that high vibrational energy. So that's where we connect with that wisdom. So when you're in that magical garden in that spring, that
Yeah.
makes total sense of where you can connect to it. But the thing of it is, you take the time to go there.
Right.
You take the time to sit in quiet and to connect into your body. And it's actually not like you're going somewhere. It feels to me that you're internalizing it more. You're coming into yourself more and creating that space more in yourself. And then you're allowing yourself to receive, which is also key when you're getting divine wisdom.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because you can make anything your portal, right? It's a little bit like Lion Witch in the wardrobe, where you know how you go through the wardrobe to get to the other worlds.
Yeah.
So for me, like what you just said sounds beautiful, and I think that's you. And I want to hear more about how your guides came online. But for me, I didn't necessarily see it as going through my body. I saw it as really going out, 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 and up and out, which is very Jane, right? Like, bye. so I love the idea of the embodiment, the way you bring it in. But I actually have this whole process where I go underneath these leaves and these trees, and I go up this path, and it's the same well-worn path up this cliff. Like, there's a whole like mini journey to the place. But I want to hear about you, Sarah. Like, how did they? So you learned how to talk to my dead boyfriend. Episode 2. And then and then what happened? Like, how did your guides come online?
Well, I think around that time, so that was in February of 2020.
2020. Mm-hmm.
And then everything shut down for COVID, right?
Right.
Like the whole world. And I was stuck in the house with 3 kids homeschooling everybody.
Yay.
And so I spent a lot of time at the computer with headphones on while I had kids sitting at the dining room table with headphones on, and everyone was on their computers doing homeschool. And I had to sit there to make sure that they would actually do it. So I took a lot of Suzanne Giesemann courses during that time. I took a lot of different courses, and one of her exercises was meet your guides, because she was talking about meeting your guides. And it was actually so helpful to have somebody that was so solid in the real world.
Yeah.
Right. Someone who was so like, I'm a Navy commander. Right. I was on Air Force One, and
totally.
I talked to Boris and the angels. I was like, oh, if she can do that, then I can do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And one of the exercises was kind of like what you were talking about, where she said, go into a field, ask your guides to step back, like hide behind a tree, hide somewhere outside of your field so you don't feel them, because our guides are with us 24/7 all the time, have been always. And I did that, and I said, okay, step back. But before this, I was like, okay, I don't know like who my guides are. And my friend Eliza, who we've talked about on the show, she said, I feel like your guide's name's Michael. I'm like, really?
I love that.
Why do you think that? And I can't even remember all the evidence she gave me about why, but she said he's Michael. I was like, oh, okay. And then I think I was doing a practice session with Carla, and I can't remember if it was after doing this exercise of standing in the field in my meditation, or I'm not sure where in the timeline this falls, but she's like, oh, Sarah, I think you've got your guide's name's Michael. I was like, oh.
Wait, who said that?
Carla Sloan.
Oh, Carla Sloan said that.
Right.
What?
And we were taking a class at that time. She's like,
From
is your
Andy?
guide? No, I can't. No, it's a different one. And she's like, is your guide Archangel Michael? And I was like, oh, I don't know. No. And the teacher's like, no. I was like, And so I did this exercise. It was early in the morning. I'm lying in bed. I'm meditating. And I asked all my guides to step outside of the circle. And I said, okay, guides, whatever guide, just like make your presence known to me. And I felt behind me these ginormous angel wings open up and just completely wrap around me and embrace me and fill me with this feeling of unconditional love that was just overwhelming, tears running down my face. And like, I was like, oh, that's Michael.
That's Michael. Straight
That's
up
Michael.
With the wings and all.
Yeah.
Hi. Hey,
I
Mike,
know.
what's up?
So, that was my experience. So I think a lot of what we talk about is our own experiences and how we experience things. So I think that's all that matters from that story was that was my experience. And it filled me with so much love, and the
hope.
feeling of that I'm not alone, that I don't have to carry this by myself, that I'm not doing it, individually.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's kind of like turn off the mic, we're good, because that's the whole point, right? Like that's why it's important for folks to feel their guides and trust their guides. I mean, I guess there's a lot of reasons, but one of the things I was wanting to bring today is ever since I started actually trusting that guidance, and like you said earlier, it comes kind of like my intuition. It's just like an inner voice, inner knowing. And I attribute it to the guides, plural, even though at that moment I can't be like one of my guides. Oh my God, I'm spacing on her name. That's so weird. It doesn't matter. I have like kind of a healer guide. Maria is her name. And she's been with me since the very beginning, or I've identified her very early on. But when I hear that voice, I don't know if it's Maria or Michael, who I work with too, or, Raymond, who was actually Raven, or if it's Jasmine, or like, I'm just like going through some of my random guides, but I don't know. It kind of comes through as like a single clear voice that I know as my guidance.
Guidance. Yeah. I also don't know that the names are entirely important either.
All.
No.
It's mostly for entertainment. Like we talked about this last week with Catherine, right? Like,
yes. And there's somebody who's always like, let me see what my guides say, checking in all the time. And you can see her back and forth.
She leans her head back and then she comes back to us. Yeah, no, she's always tracking that information. I have to admit I'm more and more that way too, where I'm like, stand by. Okay. I feel like having it that close and being that in tune is just kind of what I need to do right now. I mean, I haven't always done it this way, but that's good. It's really good that you said that about the names, because people get super caught up with that. Oh, I don't know them. I don't know their names. I don't know what they look like. It's like, it's so neither here nor there.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I just heard this really great podcast with, it's actually on Liz Enton's show, this beautiful medium. I believe she's Scottish. This is gorgeous accent. Why does a British or Scottish accent immediately make them sound like they know what they're talking about? Is that you? Anyone else?
I get that. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
I have to look up her name and put that, link it in the show notes. It's such a good episode. But she was talking about that and really de-emphasizing it. Like, it doesn't matter what your guides are called. It doesn't matter. No. It's just a knowingness and an access point where you can just kind of lean back and like listen for your intuition / this voice of good, and then trust it.
Yeah. I also think it's important that we are talking about this, you and I, so other people can hear us talking about this, because if I hadn't known about guides, I would not have found them on my own. I would not have just been like, oh, I've got guides. It was actually something I needed to be made aware of and conscious of in order to use them and utilize them and call upon them. And that's another thing. They really want to be asked. They, from what I understand, this isn't anything that they've shown me, but it rings true for my life, is that they will not step in because of free will unless you ask them to. So
oh my God.
you want something, if you want help with something, you have to ask specifically, please help me with this, or actually command them to do this. Otherwise, they will just be there loving us, supporting us.
Yep.
But they will let us do whatever we will with our free will.
Yes. And it's interesting because sometimes I'm like, can I just say, come in anytime? Like, I kind of want to give them a blanket permission. Like, hey, anytime you want to come on in with something, like, go for it. It's not like that either. Like, I feel like I have to constantly, can you drive this
Can
bus?
you just drive this?
I'm tired.
No, it doesn't work like that. That's not the point of being alive.
You're hanging out here in the free will mobile.
Yeah.
Trying to drive around and crashing into shit. If you're me. So there's kind of, and that's why it's great to, it's like any relationship, right? It's like the reason you're friends or your dear friends is because you're constantly checking in with them and you're constantly inviting them into your life. And you're constantly going like, can you help me? Because, whatever, like your friends have the benefit of your attention. So it's the same with our guides, right? Like our guides need us to attend to them and be like, what's up, team? I don't know what you look like. I don't know what your name is, but I know you're there. So show me a sign. Or, hey guys, I could use help right now and I'm freaking out. And then they can basically such a good word, buoy up your vibe. You can just be like, fix it. Or like lately, I know a lot of people, I'll say it like the kids say it, crashing out. Like everyone's crashing out right now, right?
Yeah.
So like sometimes our job is to notice ourselves crashing out and invite an angel or a guide to step in. Or if, say, for example, a family member's crashing out, is like get near them and run and ask the angels to run our energy in a way that's helpful to them. Because back to free will, like I can't say, hey guys, fix this for my kid. I can only just invite my vibe to be a high resonance that maybe they'll match, So it's interesting. It's interesting. We have to keep engaging and loving them as they love us.
Yeah. But they don't take things personally either, though. So you don't ever have to worry. They're not like we little human beings are with little egos. They don't take things personally. It's so cool. I did a 3-day medical intuition seminar with Tina Zion last weekend. And she's like, the last time I heard from my guides, I've got like 100 of them that she works with because she does healing with them. And you can call them in like specialists, call in specialists. But her big piece of advice, and I think the big takeaway that I had from her whole 3 days of training was to develop an ongoing relationship with my guides and to specifically ask them to do things.
Yes.
And also to make sure who I'm calling in. And she used these 2 words. And she said they're very specific and vibrationally intentional, which are divine and sacred. So when you call in a specialized guide, make sure you're calling in divine and sacred guides. And then when you feel them come in, even ask them, okay, yeah, but are you divine and sacred? And then once they can't lie to you, once you get that affirmation that they're divine and sacred, then they're on your team.
Proceed.
They're not going to leave until you. So for her, for doing healing, like she'll have somebody that works with, heart. Heart specialist or
lupus or
exactly
whatever,
autoimmune specialist. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That's so cool. And did she say whether there were people who were once here or are they only in
No.
spirit?
So she also made that clear. She's like, listen, your dead family members can also be guides and help you along the way. And of course they want to. But when you're doing healing work like this, you want the divine and sacred specialized guides.
Love it.
Because I have a story about that, actually. I wanted my own mediumship guide. This was years ago. And I was doing practice readings. I was like, I want a mediumship guide. And one of my husband's friends had just passed. and I'm going to change his name in this, but I only knew his last name. And like, I felt him, like he was hanging around close and I'd feel him and he would give me like funny little signs for my husband. And, when he was here on earth, there was some things that he did that weren't, super smart or wise. And not necessarily somebody that you'd want to have life guidance from in all considerations. But he was here and I felt him. He's like, yeah, I'll help be your mediumship guide. And so like I would feel him on the side when I was doing these, and I think mostly practice readings at this time. And I'll say his last name was Walker, and I'd be like, okay, well, Walker's here. And I'd be like, in hearing this, it's like, okay, so I'd hear this name come through. So I'd say to my sitter, is your loved one's name Paul? And they'd be like, no. I'm like, what?
Walker.
What? Walker. And he's like, yeah, but that's my first name. I'm like, okay, you're out. No longer. Yeah. You're not, you can't be my mediumship guide because it's just about you.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So then it made sense, that we have to ask our guides that do work with us to be divine and sacred, of the highest vibration. Not to say that Walker wasn't, but
in his own special ways. Yes.
Yeah. He was just hanging out watching my readings. Yeah.
He was basically like trying to take the mic, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you had a connection with him, and that's all part of that. We talked about this a lot with Catherine's episode. Just all of that important hygiene, energetic hygiene. Like you, at a certain point, you had to be like, you need to step back. I love you. Bye. Goodbye. I love you. Bye.
Yeah. Like, and he's not hanging around anymore. No, he's like, okay, I'm fine. I've got my own stuff to hang out and do.
Other exciting things to attend to.
Yes.
Boy, that's such a good illustrative story. Yes. So good. Well, this woman, Karen, I think it's Doherty. I don't know exactly how you say her name. The medium that was on Liz's podcast was talking about the people that we love that cross over do kind of join the team, but she had a nice word for it, which is guardian. So not necessarily a guide, because in her perspective, which I align with, is like your guides are with you. They're assigned, which I thought was kind of a fun idea, that they're assigned at birth.
I've heard that too.
Right? And then
at birth, right?
At birth. Like here's your trajectory. Here's this lifetime. Here's your support staff, and some people, like when I tune in, when I'm about to do a reading, I actually start with their guides. And sometimes I see 4. Sometimes I see 20. Sometimes it's like very entertaining to me, and how they appear. And, and I'm like, oh, your guides are very angel-y if I see wings, or your guides are very like, it's just kind of entertaining. Like, who's here? I don't describe them, or I don't get names, or I don't want to mess with people's heads in that way. It's just more like tuning into the vibration of them as support for what we're doing together. But I guess it's a good thing that you said earlier. It's like, kind of like, it's a little bit like an imaginary friend. And there's a quality of just believing. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just kind of have to freaking go with it. Like, y'all heard on the Catherine episode that she and I share a joy guide. And it was just like, it came up, it seemed true. And then we would both get pinged, and we would go, oh, that's Maggie. And then we would text each other and be like, did you just get this from Maggie? And she'd be like, yes, or whatever. So then it just becomes like a fun, evidential workspace in a way. So, but do you know what I mean? I'm trying to transmit this, like, letting go.
Just believe. Let go of the need for evidence absolutely all the time. Yes.
Yeah. But I really love that discernment about divine, sacred, because, especially those who are just coming online and are like learning how to do this, there is, like you said, like there's sort of some trickster energy, even if it's someone you've loved, or it's not, but you understand, it's not divine sacred. It's more just like trying to, if you have an open mic and they can get in, you want to have clarity about who's there. So that is maybe the best thing I've ever heard, is like, you ask it, divine, sacred.
Ask divine and sacred. Right. That's the just being specific. Like, what do I want? This is what I want. I want divine and sacred guidance. Although I will never turn down my grandma's. Never. I mean,
Right.
I will
Well,
take
they are,
their
though.
love and guidance. Yeah. But they will try to get through the same door in joint readings. They always will. They'll always try to both show up at the same time.
I love that. But
I
they're also
know.
teaching your baby mediums that you're always
That's
teaching
right.
in,
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
It's so true. But and it's nice to know that our loved ones, like we call them in. I was having gum surgery. I think we've talked about this many times on this podcast.
Yeah.
But like my grandparents were there and I was so terrified because I'd now had several of them, gum surgeries, and it's never fun and you're awake for it. And like I felt them there standing there next to me, holding my hand. They were so palpable to me in that moment. And I needed that. I needed them, that familiarity and that love and like their comfort at that time. And so, they're there. They're there when you call them in. They're there if you need them. They're there when you ask them to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a cool story.
Tell me.
So, I have this new client who I love, and with her permission, I want to share a little bit about what's going on with her because I checked in with her this morning and she's down. So, this new client of mine who is an ongoing client in a mentorship type fashion, she has 2 boys who are autistic, and one is completely non-speaking, and the other one has some words, but they both see spirits. And now she's seeing spirits, and there's all this amazing confirmation that's coming through with the typing of the one non-speaker. And it's like, I bring it up because her stepfather on the other side comes through a lot for the boys. Like he's sort of in that role of guardian, and he's overseeing this kind of like spiritual revolution that's happening in their family. And so he will, the older boy, the non-speaker boy will type about the stepfather. And I was telling her about my guides. Well, the guys that I channel, the Walters.
Uh-huh.
And I had only ever heard the name of the stepfather as Opa. So we've gone back and forth, where Opa weighed in about even my family. And there's all these really wild synchronicities between our families. Like all these names are the same. There's all this really wild stuff happening with this beautiful family. And anyway, so she says to me something like, Opa, whose name is Walter. I know.
No way.
Yeah, dude. I was like, wait a minute, hold on a minute. What? His name is Walter. So
of course it is.
Is it just another synchronicity, or is it possible that Opa is part of the crew that speaks to me as the Walters? I don't know. That's part of what's true is we don't get to totally know. We just have to kind of go for it.
I know. I think that's another thing that we need to emphasize. I can't emphasize that enough, is that we don't get to know everything. We don't know how all of this works, but we get to experience it even though we don't know how it all works.
Right. And we can also be utterly, completely delighted by the fact that
that's right.
3 years ago, some math ago, 3 years ago, I was given the name Walters as a group of entities that I channel intermittently, I'd say. And then here it is, 2025, and I meet this beautiful woman. And I mean, like, all the synchronicities are like, they don't stop. And then this happened, and I was like, mostly just like, wee! You know what I mean? Like, that's rad. Like you said, I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm just like delighted and curious. And I think that's what we're constantly trying to invite is like delight and curiosity. Like, that's interesting. That's fun. I don't know. So
I think that's so. If our listeners are trying to figure out how they can engage with their guides, how they can start to build relationships with their intuition and their teams of light, which is another word for guides, where would you suggest that they start?
Well, I think you laid it out really well already, and it's really for me anyway, and that silence and that meditation and that accepting state. And now you've given everybody this amazing that your teacher Tina gave you of like asking very clearly, I would like to work with a guide, ask them to step forward. You can use some kind of visualization. There's tons of really, in fact, I was thinking, we can put up a guide meditation. So it's nice. And I'm happy to pull it together. That, just to have a little bit of a voice taking you into that state, and also a voice that can help ground you as you open the door for that kind of guidance to step forward. And now you've given us this brilliant, divine and sacred bit. So yeah, I guess more or less what we just said, like, set a powerful intention, invite the guide to step forward. And then, I think there's more things about practicing, but just the question back to you, does that seem like the way to start?
Yeah, it does. And then I think ask them to play with you. Ask for signs.
Yeah.
I know that I asked, there's like so many signs that I've gotten, so many signs over the years. And I really should write a book. I was going back and looking through all of my channeled writing.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was like, whoa, I've got so much in here of just proof after proof of signs of signs of signs. But a couple that stand out to me, recently I finally did find my mediumship guides. I called in divine and sacred mediumship guides, and I heard the name Gloria. I was like, okay, great. And then she's got a twin that she works with who's male. So sounds crazy, but it's like, okay, I'm not quite sure on his name. It doesn't matter. And this is all about following the signs. This is all about being in the flow. This is all about kind of being in a state of prayer all the time, watching what your thoughts are. If my thoughts are on that person did that to me and I really can't stand this, as opposed to, oh, the air is so nice. I'm walking out to my car with bags full of groceries. And then all of a sudden, my mediumship guides pop into my head. And I was like, oh, yeah, I had that experience. There's twins. There's two of them. I'm like, I wonder what that's about. And then I look, and the two cars on either side of my car where I'm parked, on their license plate said 444. And the next one over were 444. And I'm like,
way.
So 444, to me, that's signs from guides.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And there's two of them. Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. So it just made me smile. So being in that state of awareness all the time, being in that state of flow just allows you to open up and see those signs whenever they appear.
Oh my gosh.
And
I hadn't heard that one. That's so good.
Yeah. And I'd also shared this with Catherine, and I'll say it again for anybody that missed that. There was a time, it was just so recently, that I was just having such a hard time. I was like, is any of this real?
Is anyone out there?
Is anyone out there? Angels. And I was taking out the trash and walking down the stairs, and I always get these pings, be present, be present, be present. And so, okay, I'm walking down the stairs. I'm noticing how the air feels on my skin. I'm noticing what it feels like to go down these stairs. And all of a sudden I hear, angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains. And then the chorus for that is Gloria. And I was like, oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's so not a song I would ever have in my head in October. Just no. Or ever.
Well, maybe December 24th.
Perhaps, yeah. But it just was it just made me laugh out loud. I was like, of course. And I was like, it just brightened my day, made me feel so happy and excited.
Good. Well, part of what's exciting, I feel, with your stories about this is you get those little pings, be present.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was a waitress in Seattle, when I first moved to Seattle, and I was so broke, I couldn't even buy new shoes. And I was walking in the snow in shoes that had holes. That was my life when I was in my mid-20s. And we had this amazing, I just managed to get this job at this restaurant. And the chef would always go, wake up, wake up. To his wait staff because we were probably talking and bullshitting and whatever.
Yeah.
But like I've thought about this guy all the time because I feel like that's kind of the message a little bit right now. It's
Yeah.
like, wake up, wake up. This isn't it. Like, your capacity to get into the feet going down the stairs and into the skin feeling the air, into the, all of that presence.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what makes you such a great medium and friend and human and all these good things that you are, is that presence.
Well, you too. Yeah. I mean, I think
just a note, just a little love note for you there, Sarah.
But I think that's you as well because you find things that bring you so much joy and you really open the door to joy. You're that little joy farmer where you'll see something and instead of just like passing by it, you'll be like, oh, joy, and you'll head in that direction and you'll investigate it. But that's because you're present with it. You're in the present moment. So you like see joy as little portals into something more and you activate on it. And you can only do that if you notice it.
Yes. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's very sweet for you to say, because I always kind of perceive myself as being pretty spacey and out there, but I think that's it. Like these little gratitude, like I like to orient through gratitude because it just helps bring me back into like right now, I have heat in this house. I'm so grateful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got a new jacket at TJ Maxx last night that made my hike really nice this morning.
Yeah.
So, and I just to bring it back to the topic, I do feel exceptionally grateful that somewhere along the way, I just flipped the switch. I was like, is it bullshit? I don't care. Is it real? I don't know. I just feel grateful and guided. But what I wanted to add is there's some fun exercises you can kind of do. Like you were saying, like ask for signs and you illustrated these amazing signs. But I like to do that too with like, I kind of play with it a little bit with intuition and the guides I'll just sort of like, we can do this with everything. And I've shared about this before, but like who's calling? And I ask them, tell me who's calling. Cause it's kind of like, continuing to strengthen that channel of like when we do our Claire Club, which we get to do tonight. Yay. Can't wait. I always ask how many people are going to come on.
Yes.
I remember I did it the one time and it was true. It was like, oh, we're going to have 5 tonight or we're going to have 10 tonight or whatever the math is. And I think that constant kind of like questioning, exercising, and getting little hits of proof.
Yeah.
Help strengthen it for our little human brains so that when the harder things come up, we have like the capacity to trust that intuition, voice, etc. Because it's like it's all buff and tough. It's just like, it and you trust it. And it's all worked up. Can you tell I just joined a gym? I'm using buff. I'm using gym language. And
it makes it more fun. It makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's something else that I want to, did we talk about this with Catherine? I can't believe it's literally last week and I can't remember, even though I listened to it 4 times. Did we talk about two-way prayer where, the Elizabeth Gilbert stuff?
Oh, it's funny. I don't know that we did, but I was just thinking about prayer this morning, about how I totally grew up in that world where you have something that comes up. It's a prayer request. Oh, I'll pray about it. And then, as I went to college and I started seeing all of the crazy stuff that, I don't even need to go there right now. I kind of lost my ability to trust in that. But I think for me now, prayer, being in that constant state of prayer is being in constant awareness, being in constant presence. And now it's more than just asking, it is also receiving. Because that wasn't the prayer that I grew up with. The prayer that I grew up with was asking, please, help, and then leaving it at that. Pleading instead of receiving the guidance, receiving the wisdom, and being quiet to listen for it.
Yes.
And being aware and present to listen for it.
Yeah, I've heard it said, praying is speaking and meditation is listening. But I think there's a world where it's kind of like both at once, all at once, where you're in a dialogue with the everything. But the two-way prayer is something that came up multiple times this week, so I thought it would be worth to bring here, which is this idea that, and this comes, at least the way I was introduced to it was through recovery, where you open up a question to your God and or divine or sacred or Walter or Fred, whoever. You ask the question, what should I know? And then you write. And
Yes.
Elizabeth Gilbert has popularized it right now. She switched it, instead of Dear God, what would you have me know today? She flipped it to Dear Love to make it
Yeah.
a little bit more generic and like welcoming, I think, to those of all faiths. But I do it. I did it for about a year, and I have a whole journal of it. And I've been kind of prompted to do it again because
Yeah.
it's like stuff is happening so fast. And I feel like, and I think we've probably said this for centuries, there's like a quickening, there's this really like kind of heightened feeling right now. And
Mm.
it's nice to ground in clarity, especially like day by day. Like, what would you have me know today? And
Yeah.
then, you know, I've done this, you know, I haven't done it in a minute, but this Archangel Michael channeling. And Michael always says, today is a day for, which is interesting. That's just
Yeah.
how that energy always opened today is a day for da da da. So I think that two-way prayer, and I'll put that link and you know, it's a little bit oriented towards recovery, but you can ignore that if it's not you. You know, what do you want me to know? And then, to your point, the answers will come all day, not just in the writing that you do in the morning, but it'll
Yeah.
resonate
Yeah.
with like the trees that wave at you, or like, you know, like just all this like beautiful synchronistic shit that's going to happen and like blow your
Yeah.
mind. Like
Yeah.
yesterday I was putting in a container around my house, which is like a spiritual container. And I was calling on the spirit of plants. And then right then the trees started going, the tree right above me, and then no other trees were moving. And I was like, copy that, you know, like really cool. We can just be engaged with our little 3D world that we walk around in.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Right?
That's so cool. Yeah, there's it's so rich when you just allow yourself to go there. It becomes so rich and exciting. Can I share something as I was looking through all of this writing that I have been doing for years? And that's a way. So when it's channeled writing, you were talking about writing. I started doing this in 2020, where I would meditate and then just ask a question, and then the most profound poetry, answers, everything started coming out. Let's see. Okay, this one is so interesting to me because it's so perfect for now. It's kind of a crazy story. We have a second?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a second.
So I had done a practice reading with this woman, and I brought through this energy and everything I was describing. She's like, okay, I know who that is. He's no longer alive. He was not, he was an entity or a guru that Sylvia Brown, do you remember her?
Yeah,
channeled?
for sure.
I think his name is Rahim. And
Yeah,
when I
totally.
felt,
Yep.
when I felt into, yeah, do you feel him?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I say his name, it's like boom.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When I felt
yeah.
and it was like huge, like real big,
Yeah.
big energy. And so I just took out pen and paper and I started writing. I was like, okay, what do you have to tell me? And so this is what I wrote down. And this is so perfect for right now. It says, in the duality is the big picture. Contrast helps you learn. Embrace the difference between polarities and the wisdom that comes from this. This architecture is built of ancient design orchestrated to motivate individuals to manifest for the good of the whole. Retire old ways of thinking and utilize this duality as positive life force energy. Construct your reality through the ability to mobilize amongst these amazing contrasts. Within the contrasts exists the desired beauty.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Woo! Okay.
So good. Holy buckets. Yeah. It's funny. Every time we change topics, and I was like, I want to ask Sarah about those beautiful channeled writings that you did from your guides. So I'm glad you finally got us there.
Yeah. But that was just Raheem that I came through in a reading that I had done. And I was like, okay. And there was, but it's, it was very unique to that specific.
But you were actually putting those beautiful pieces up on Instagram back then, weren't you?
I was. I put a bunch of them up on my website too.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So people can find them. Good. We can link to them. Yeah. Because they are, you can feel into it. It's like this very, I don't know how to explain it. It's got this intelligence that's so resonant.
Not me.
Well, no, I'm not saying that because I know who you are.
True.
You're hella smart. But, it's just different. Like it's a different.
Yeah, it is different. It's different language. No.
Yeah. I mean, when you're going into the architecture of the it's like so rad. Yeah. It's so cool. That's what I love about channeling. It's like I'll say stuff will come out of my mouth and I'll be like, well, we know that's not Jane. We've met Jane, and that is not how Jane talks.
But what it is tapping into this gorgeous web of consciousness that is everything that, is woven together that we're a part of. And we get to participate in that. And the more aware that we are of that, the more we get out of it. So...
Whoa, wait, say that again. Sorry, you lost me for a second. So the more aware we are of it.
The more aware we are that we're a part of this greater consciousness.
The more we can be an observer? Is that what you mean?
The more we get out of it. Yeah, the more we participate in it, the more we
love
it, the more we're aware that that's what we are.
Yeah.
The more we can tap in and tune into everything, the more we can talk to plants, the more we can tune into whales.
Oh, we talk to plants now, Sarah?
Well, you do.
I do. But
yeah. But that's how we do it. We're just tapping into this bigger consciousness that we all are made of anyhow.
Oh my God. I can hear our music starting to come in because we need to close. I think my inner editor just put the music in.
On that note,
with your brilliance. And thank you so much for, just I do believe that this gorgeous human that you are, that needed that evidence, that has that scientific brain, that is so grounding for so many of our listeners. And then others of you who are just like butterflies and rainbows are enough, then hi. But the point is the two of us are really hopefully being of service to everyone. And I love hanging out with you. So
right back at you, honey.
Thank you, my friend, my friendly farmer.
Joy farmers.
Joy farmers.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Well, till next time, my dear friend.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody soon. Love you all.
Yeah, we love you all. Like genuinely. Okay.
Yes. So grateful for you.
Yep. Lots of love. Bye.
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 Very Soul is our sponsor for Medium Curious. Jane and I are both Very Soul mediums.
Oh, yes, we are. verysoul.com, y'all. Inspired by spirit, guided by love, and brought to life by mediums. Medium Curious is made possible
by Jane Morgan Editing.
Sarah Rathke made the amazing music.
And you can help Medium Curious by downloading the episodes.
And the dogs under the desk in Utah are Kalea and Domino.
And Trixie in California.